Welcome to CTE Finally Explained, Part 4, The Lighter Side. Here I am with my mini bead counter. If you're looking for a counter for two players, it's 50 beads each. This is on eBay, not on YouTube. Just check it on eBay, and there's some information at the end of the video. So here we are again with the large object ball broken up into three lines. In this case, it's almost a straight shot to the corner, but you do have the A, B, and C lines, and on the side of those lines you'll see two dots. Those dots represent 1/8, which is a kind of a thin cut. In this case, of course, it's a kind of a standard straight shot, so it'll be pretty much a B shot. If your cue ball is moved over a little bit to the right, it would be a tougher cut, so it would probably be an aim line. Again, these are aim lines only, so you have to target the left side of the cue ball to the aim line, line it up, pivot to center, and then shoot it in. There's been controversy on some of the areas of CTE. I have been working with a little bit different technique. It's a little bit different in our following videos or the following clip. You'll see some of the areas of difference. In this particular case, we have the 14 ball. This would be kind of a basic shot. You could say it's a B. Now, the traditional CTE works on two fixed edges. So you're lining up the edge of the cue ball to the A spot. Then you're lining up visually the center of the cue ball to the edge of the object ball. Then you're putting your stick offset from center and then pivoting it to center and then shooting the object ball in. So just shows you a little bit of the offset. You're lining it up, you're moving over the stick into center, and that ball would go in. Here's a little diagram of what I'm talking about. Now, I've been working with CTE a little over a year or so. The method does work. I use it all the time. My approach is a little bit shorter in terms of the focus. I'm lining up the edge of the cue ball to A, pivoting over to center, and shooting the ball in. I'm lining up probably more physically than visually, although I do both. And in fact, most of the time I've been actually just lining up the shot, not as much using the pivot as much. But if the ball is moved over like that, you do kind of are able to pivot in the beginning. This is something that you should do in any case, just to start looking at where the edge is. What I've been noticing, though, is traditionally CTE has a half-tip pivot, and my guesstimate was that I was pivoting a little bit longer, and I'll show you the differences. Cue ball is pretty much averaging about 2 1/4, so it's more than a full tip from the edge of the cue ball to center. So I realized that, but since I was working with it and it worked for me, I just kept it. Now I'm using a stick, but this is traditional CTE, so you would actually visualize the edge of the cue ball to the left side of the object ball, pretty much an A spot. Then moving over the half tip, pivot over to center, and there you are. Same shot. And I'm utilizing my standard style, which is the left edge of the cue ball, the A spot, moving over to center. But before I go, I'm just going to show you, based on the thickness of a cue, why I was having some issues with that half-tip pivot. Obviously, its cue ball is a little bit thicker from the edge to the center. So I was kind of trying to figure out that whole situation. but I was working with good results on that. There you go. You can see it's definitely more than a half tip pivot, uh, but it does work. Um, people have inquired, say, well, this is not CTE. Well, I'm still hitting the edge, so I don't know what else you can call it. So it is kind of a center to edge style. Maybe a little bit morphed, and if it's not traditional CTE, that's fine. You can utilize both and see which one works best for you, and get a handle on that. And like I said, pivot is something you could work with. You could develop where you don't need it at one point in time. And there you go. It's basically the same. This is a traditional point of view. So you visualize the edge of the cue ball to A spot. Then you visualize the middle of the cue ball, center cue ball, to the edge of the object ball. You have to take your cue, and I was a little mixed on this. It's an offset, and then you have to offset it to center. The great thing about this is that it works, flawlessly. So you could just pivot over, and there you go. You have a little pivot, and it just works great. Same shot. I'm just pivoting over from left edge to A to center. There you go. Here we have an 8-foot table. I'm just going to show you some of the styles. Now, I try to practice on pivoting in different areas, or at least a sweep, just to get an idea if there is a difference. All the shots that I'll be looking at here, I am utilizing kind of the A, B, and C styles, or in other words, it's the A side of the edge, the B side of the B in the middle, or the C side of the edge. I, of course, will use follow-up, drawback, etc. to get position. But all the shots here, I am hitting edge. So if you can see, that was an A spot. This is B. Most of the shots, when you start playing in general, are traditionally going to be A and B. You do, of course, occasionally have some C or even 1/8 shots to make, but this is the technique, and this is pretty much a good shot. You could look at and say this is a good C technique. So I'm hitting the far right of the object ball, which is considered a C point. Now I'm moving into the shot. I'm placing my hand and my foot just about level with the cue ball in terms of the my left foot in front of the cue, so I can easily move my hand over and pivot in if needed. And the shots, I am focusing more on the hitting the ball than the actual pocket. It's a question of whether or not some of these techniques actually work on the shorter tables, like at this table, like an 8-footer or even 7-footer. But aiming is aiming. I believe that in this particular case, I'm going to be okay with just the aiming side. There are some areas where it may not work, because CTE is based on traditional 9x4 tables. So this is something, again, you could have to check and see if it's something that works on the tables that you use. I am pretty much utilizing every single shot, and CTE does work on banks. So here's a bank shot, and we'll go over that a little bit later in the tape. A couple of more balls, and get a handle on what's happening here. Sometime back, a little while back, I was hitting on quite a bit of balls, but I was getting great position, but not necessarily hitting the balls in. So it was something that I was very concerned about. And even though here I'm really doing okay in terms of the focus, that was a dilemma that I had. Um, and I'm in pretty much a not I'm an A player. I'm probably a BCA. I would probably be a 9, APA a 7. So I'm on the higher level there. But in general, I'm considering myself an average player, a B player, maybe a little bit poor. And here I get stuck on this ball. You can see that there's really no area to shoot except for the 9 ball, which is a nice C cut. So this is where CTE kind of gets you out of a jam because you just could hit the edge. You don't have to necessarily worry about the pocket. So this is what I was focused on. So like I said, few years ago, I was playing in the leagues, tournaments, and just knocking around. Position was great, but I was missing too many basic shots. So I needed a fix, and I started seeking answers all over. So I went to the internet, back to YouTube, worked with articles from all over, periodicals. So here we go with Dr. Q. I don't know if you're familiar with Dr. Q, but he has about 75 to 80 videos on YouTube, and again, just good training exercises, a lot of short stuff, but good stuff. This book is 99 Critical Shots by Ray Martin, a great book. It's like kind of a Bible. I went back to that and a few others. This is Bert Kinnister, uh, just another person that's on YouTube, an older guy. He's been around a little while, but he's got some good stuff on there. Looking at his stuff again, trying to get some areas of expertise on some of the shot making. So I was really searching all over the place and looking for a fix. So I looked at some of the pros and say, what are they doing that I'm not doing? And I noticed that for whatever they're doing, they were hitting very low on the ball. Whether you see them in videos or in person, they tend to hit low on almost all shots. Here's Van Bonen. You can see he does hit quite a bit low. Now, this is a technique that I've tried that may not have worked for me that great. I was always a little worried on miscuing, of course, uh, but you can see how, again, look how low it is. Um, but these guys, maybe they shoot a billion shots a week, so they can do that kind of stuff. Um, Van Bonen is the second best player in the world, but as you can see, he's aiming on the shot, and it looks like that shot's it's kind of a long shot. He needs to position a 7, which is critical. But as you see him lining up, it looks like he's almost sweeping, which comes to me that he may be utilizing CTE. You could actually see the sweep when he moves into the ball. Look at the sweep. He sweeps right in, lines it up, and there you go. Well, you get it. In this case, he really misses in most cases. So I watched him and a few others. Here's Rodney Morris. I like his style. This is kind of a style that I use. He just gets around the table. He does hit low like the other guys, and just has a real strong ability of getting around the table, ideal position, and he lines up quickly. There you go, a little low there. See that low that shot is, and just snaps it in. In most cases, he just runs out of table within a minute or so, and it's truly amazing on the talent. But again, these professional guys trying to get pointers on what they were doing and why I was missing shots. Um, and as I started watching many of these videos, eventually I did pick up CTE, and it improved my game dramatically. But I was on the run. I was looking at even international players, and here's Pan, I can't pronounce her last name, but she was playing against Jeanette Lee, and I was looking at just the style of her technique and how could I utilize that style, which was hitting the ball very, very, very low. These are Chinese tables, which are very thin pockets. Look how low that ball is. She hits it very low on the cue ball. So it's pretty much a difficult table. And this little guy is, I don't know who he is, but he was playing in the 8-ball World Tour. Um, just amazing, just about could reach the table. And I don't know if he won or lost, but he was knocking a few balls in. And and he looks pretty good if he can just reach over the table a little bit. So as I look again, I said, well, maybe I could beat this kid, but that's a good maybe. So here we are on a 7-foot table. The 7-foot table is, of course, is a diamond table, and if you're familiar with APA or some of the small tables, you're playing the bar. This is a very fast table. The cloth is much faster. Since the table is smaller, tendency is to lose the object ball pretty quickly. So I've been practicing on this and just do a quick run out. I am utilizing CTE methods on this just as much as any other thing. Whether or not all the technique works, I'm not really sure, but for aiming purposes, I think it does. So if you have a small table or if you play with the leagues or in a bar, you could use that method and it'll definitely work. I'm lining up the shot and hitting edge. Now there is a Super Expo event coming up at the end of March 2017, and they'll be working with this table in many of the tournaments that they have. So it's something that I look forward to practice quite a bit. And I've been picking up some tips in terms of getting around the table, working with the aiming as far as things go, as well as some of the other techniques. On the smaller tables, I tend to use a little bit more English, so I do compensate the English with the CTE and work it on both ends. Now we'll be working with the CTE method on a 9-ball game. 9-ball is the focus of the event, and this is a video, and I'm picking up the cue ball just to make it quicker on the time frame. The method is pretty much the same whether you use um, the CTE. It's just easier for me to hit the ball instead of the pocket. I don't even hardly look at pockets. I look at the edge of the ball to get the ball in. So it's something, but you have to get used to the pivoting, and that's one of the areas that's a little difficult to describe. Sometimes it's almost like you have to trust the pivot. And later on, you'll see what I'm saying in terms of trusting the pivot. There are times when you can work with the shots, but you're not sure whether or not the pivot is accurate. And you have to trust it because the accuracy is there. And the methods that I've used in this particular break, I'm just standard. I'm using standard breaking technique. There's no difference there. You can use CTE on a number of different areas, including caroms, There is even some other shots, of course, combination shots. I am using it right here, and that's a quick run in that particular case, so that was lucky there. But sometimes the luck changes, and here's a situation where um, if I was playing, I'm breaking in the balls, but sometimes you just don't get a lucky break in just kicking the ball. The ball got kicked right into the pocket there. So technically, this is my opponent shooting, and and here we are. So this is something that you'd have to kind of line up uh, each shot. Now I got stuck here. It's a very difficult situation. I had the five ball next, so this is when the CT does work for you. You have to. I had to hit the five ball, I guess, into the center of the table, right to the center pocket. Look at the side shot. Nice shot there, just by utilizing the edge of that five ball. So again, I'm coming around for the eight ball. Pretty much, I could work on these type of shots and get it in each and every time. Very not very difficult, but this table is not forgiving. If you miss ever so slightly, you're in trouble, and if you have a problem on the speed, it'll you have to work on that as well. Now here's the CT. This is a bunch of shots on an actual regulation table. So I just wanted to focus in on these shots that you'll see in front of us. So here we are. The ball is lined up directly facing the opposite side. Those are straight up. The object ball is just about parallel to the dot. The cue ball is parallel to the other dot, so about a dot away from each other. And if the shot in the corner doesn't work for you, so all you would have to do is just pivot over to from the 12 on the left side, excuse me, on the right side, and you're done. Here we are, pivoting over to the six ball, hitting over to the edge for a shot in the right corner. Long shots are definitely good to work with CTE. You can't see the cue ball, but the shot is a long shot. There are spot shots. People mention spot shots if you can use it. There are some limitations in terms of the distance, and you have to check on that. I believe it's at least 3 diamonds. You have limitations on whether you could use the B. There are certain areas where you have to focus in, but the long shots are definitely workable. Since the ball in these cases is relatively close, the object ball is close to the cue ball. You just can work on that side because it's so close that you can usually focus in on getting the ball. I don't look at the corner. I don't really care about the corner as far as pocketing it. I just aim at the ball. Now here's the pivot. You can see you have to trust the pivot. So I just pivot. I'm showing the pivot easy. You just pivot over. It's trusting that pivot. It's tough. The ball is in a tough spot. If you end up in a soup like this, you just don't have that much area to work with. So here I am with the 11 ball, trying to get that ball in the side. So concentrate on that edge and right for the side. This is something I regularly practice, getting these balls in different areas. So it's good to practice up on that. Hitting the edge on both sides. You could hit it to the right, hit the left, just hitting the opposite edge. Let's take it to the bank. CTE works on bank shots. So first we'll focus on a couple of shots. This is hitting the right edge of the ball to get it in the corner. It's a steep cut. The ball is on the spot. Both balls are parallel on the line. You can see they're just straight up and down. So you just hit that edge, and you could just pretty much get that ball in every time. Now I am sweeping from left to right just to give some variance and see which one works better for me. If there is a difference, I'm still working on it, to be honest. Maybe I'll find some new solutions out there. But pivoting has been both on both sides. I've been pivoting both left and right. Like I said, I move into the shot more than anything else. I pivot naturally, and it's something you have to pick up and see which is best for you. So it's again, there is supposed to be a difference. I'm not sure if there is for me. Now here's a bank shots. The bank shots are strange. I've been working on bank shots for a while, and getting fairly good results on banks. So I don't really look at dots anymore. I'm pretty much focusing on utilizing the A, B, and C aim lines. So wherever the ball is, if it's in the middle, like this one, or other areas, I'm going to hit the A side or the B side, A side or C side, and get it in. Here's it to cut to the other angle. Now there is some areas on the banks which is just something like I said, it's maybe because of the right angle of the table. This is a 6 ball, and I can place this ball almost anywhere, and I'm just getting better results by utilizing the CTE, uh, and it works. Uh, may not work all the time, but it does work. And this is the areas I've been focusing in on the banks. Here we have a short run, just to give you an idea of a run on a larger table. Principles are the same. I'm lining up the shot, I'm stepping in, I'm focusing on both object ball and the edge on the cue ball and the edge of the object ball. My focus is on the ball and not on the pocket. And again, I'm focusing in on the shots one after the other. Um, Position on the CTE, you could work with any of the positions. Sometimes you have to compensate a little bit on whether you're hitting it a little bit too much to the left or to the right. So you do have to compensate. But if you work with about a half a tip on either left or right, it should be no problem. Sometimes I'll utilize a little bit more English, but I tend to try to keep it down. And I've been working with it like this for some time. And that's pretty much it. Um, this is a good exercise. I would suggest you work with some runouts like this, utilizing CT, and you can have ball runs. And this would have been a nice break shot. Thanks for watching. Bye now.